welcome to this week's FHIR Analytics. So last week, just going through a couple of things, we didn't have Nikolai and we touched upon a couple of things. We had a demo from the Fireboard folks, so hopefully they can join, chatted a little bit about Pathling and Helios server, LLM integration. Hopefully we'll see some demos of that coming soon. So this week we have Nikolai again. I'm just going to go through the action items real quick to see if there's anything that jumps out at me. Everybody can take a look at their tasks on their own, but anything we want to discuss specifically, I don't think so. Anything, oh, you guys, okay, yeah, Bashir is going to open it up. Go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm sorry I missed last week's, and seems there was good discussion on Parquet. So there was one thing I was wondering that, so I put the links on chat. So we had two documents on HackMD. So there was this one, which I think Arjun, you started. And then there is this one, which I think some time ago, John started. And a while ago, I commented on the first one, but I'm not sure whether we are still using that document for working on the specification or proposal.
Right. I think John's has superseded mine.
Because date-wise, it's the other way around. Date-wise, so yeah, so you created, I think, that one. So it says last edited by John on February 25th.
Oh, right. No, you are right. John's was the original sort of specification. And then based on some of the conversations that we had, right, I wrote more of a product-focused document. It's still on my plate and John's plate to sort of start to integrate these, but we've been way behind. So there shouldn't be an issue. I think you can look at them as complement, really. John and I are going to take them and essentially merge them together.
So like over a month ago, I made some comments on that one, the one that you started, like, the first thing. Are we going to continue on the comment threads, or do we want to discuss it in this meeting?
I wonder, for some reason, I don't think I ever saw your comments. I'm just looking at a couple of them now, but I don't remember thinking about them. Let me have an action item for myself to at least review them. And then we can, if we need more time, find some specific time to go over them. But I'm looking at your comments and I don't remember ever seeing them.
Yeah, that's what I guess. I said neither you or John or anyone else actually saw them.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would have remembered. So yeah, let me take that as an action item for myself to at least look at them, maybe discuss them with John and then go from there. Does that sound good?
Yeah. And I think it's also, sorry, Nicola, I think it's a good idea also to advertise this link on Zulip as well. Yeah. Because I also had a hard time, finding it again. So I suggest that, we continue the discussion in this doc on the thread. And also as an FYI, in the coming weeks, I intend to try the changes that, John was proposing, like, with extensions and stuff like that with our Parquet generator, and then do some experiments. Yeah. Sorry, Nicola.
Yes, let me suggest maybe create the GitHub repo. I know, Arjun, you may request a repo from HL7 for that, if they agree to do that. Because so after all the experiments with the documents and all this markdown stuff, I think the GitHub repo is the best place to drive this stuff, and then we will never lose. And I think so we can create FHIR on Parquet on FHIR, something like this, and request Josh or Graham.
Because I reached out to her.
The only thing, Nikolai, is that I think we discussed this, and I think one argument was that, it's easier to, if we have something like a Google Doc type of thing, that, we can have comment threads and stuff like that. There is some background noise coming from somewhere.
I don't know who's got some, I think it's Nikolai.
No, it's not mine, it's Adam's.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, so it would be nice to have something that is more like a Google Doc type of comments. It's easier to discuss.
Yeah, it looks initially, but what I can say that I started API stuff in Google, but then it's better to go back to GitHub repo. So we can do through the pull request, and then do comments through the pull request or something like this. And we may have issue tracker attached, so
Sure.
I think like HackMD potentially can be integrated with GitHub. I don't know how deeply, so maybe you can edit this page through the HackMD stuff. But my suggestion that after all experiments, so the GitHub repo is the best place, and it will aggregate all information. And you may use issues for discussion and stuff like this.
Yeah, that's also a good point. I mean, in terms of, I guess, having a record,
Or maybe even Zulip is the best place for discussion, and then somebody will move stuff back to the repo, because that's what I see the like standard flow for the FHIR guys. They have an issue tracker, they have a repo, and they have a Zulip chat. So this is like three places how they driving the stuff.
Yeah, I like that workflow too. So yeah, thumbs up. I will chat with Josh or Graham and get a repo. And I mean, we can also, I don't know if you know, but you might know, you can actually download the wiki as a Git repository, right? And so I've been doing a lot of that day to day. So I edit it in the repository and check it in and then it's a wiki there. So it's nicely presented. So let's try that. It'll be linked to repo tickets, issues. So, okay, I'll move that forward, which is nice because Bashir is actually actively doing work here. So let's keep this ball rolling. All right, thanks for that. Next up, so taking a look at any of more action items in terms of some of the other work streams.
Yeah, for Connectathon, as we discussed, guys, so I have a slot. I don't remember exact day, but it's on FHIR. I have a presentation, but we may use the like Connectathon breakout as well. But this is so I have a slot during working group meetings, not during Connectathon. Maybe we can make 2 sessions.
Yeah. Adam, do you have any updates on that?
So Sandy gave us a 2 o'clock during the Connectathon on Sunday to do. She originally messaged it as FHIR Analytics, so might be. So I told her I'd get back with the group to see if we're okay with that listing, or if we want to be more listed as SQL and FHIR. But we have space to give a talk, and ideally potentially pull some more members in. I mean, I think that's obviously like one of the allures of being at the in-person event is to find others that are doing interesting stuff related to to the group and try to pull some folks in. So yeah, that's basically what I've got.
Yeah, cool. And that sounds nice, because this could be like brainstorming session and like presentations, and during working group I just will report where we are to the FHIR guys.
Yep. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And then we could use this as more of a FHIR. It could be more of a where we're at, and then this could be more of a working session. Also kind of recruiting. Like I'm also doing something at HL7 that I got a birds of feather session on patient scheduling. So basically I'm trying to take the Argonaut IG and update it, but that's the outside of scope of what this group is. But if folks are interested on scheduling, also let me know, because I'm looking for more people to help get some traction on that.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I don't think I've seen Sandy's responses or anything, Adam. So let's coordinate offline on just getting the word out and the marketing aspects of that. So yeah, as much as we can collect folks who are there, who are interested in the topic, and just build the interest back up again, particularly as it comes into dev days. So we're just starting to think about boosting the marketing aspects for the Connectathon and dev days. So more to come on that. Otherwise, I think everything's pretty much in the same state it was and has been for the past couple of weeks. Nikolai, you weren't here.
I can report progress. I think we're kind of close to the first version. So if you want, I can make sure demo what I did, and I hope that guys will join me soon.
Go for it.
Yeah. So this is a reference implementation of the server and the client. Okay, so this is a like toy FHIR server with a bunch of resources, and this is a discovery part. And you can go and see how the capability statement may look with the expert and run operation. As well, I've added evaluate operation. Then you can go to view definitions. Here are like 2 preloaded view definitions. And there are few operations. The run operation on top of specific view definition. We can start from here. Here you see I'm kind of building generic form based on operation definition. And so when we update the operation definition, which looks like this, so this will be updated automatically. So this is a kind of part of generic client, yes, which can make discovery of the server. And for example, and we can run this operation. So here's the parameters which are sent. They're going to be like FHIR parameters. And I implemented like few stuff. So you can add the CSV, you can filter by patient. I will do for the group and for the source. And here's the description. Yes, that's what we potentially will see in specification for the parameters. And this is a run operation when you're running like view definition having on instance level. So we have a like view definition in the context. And this is a synchronous operation, but it still can be helpful. So especially with the patient filter, so it can be fast. So then another operation is called evaluate. This is a more debug operation, but this could be nice for like debugging view definition or view definition builder. Again, so this form is built based on operation definition, and you can evaluate. So the difference between run and evaluate that you're sending the whole view definition as a part of the request. So it's kind of dynamic evaluation of the view definition. If run can work with the static view definition, so the evaluate can run synchronously with the dynamic, and this could be nice for the view definition builder. Yeah, Bashir?
Yeah, question about, so that run operation that you showed, and probably you covered this before, sorry if this is, but so that observation, is this
So this is a grid of view definitions. So
right.
If you start from the beginning, if you go to metadata, you see that we do support resource type view definition. And there's two operations. One operation on the type level, which is called export, and another evaluate. So I missed this operation here. And the instance level operation, which is called run.
Right.
So if you go to view definition lists, this is how we suppose people will discover what view definitions you have. If you put here, I think, yeah, so you can get like this. So you're discovering what are view definitions on the server, and then you can jump to the run operation, which is
sorry, if you go to observation and you go to the actual view definition, because I remember you were talking about, an edit functionality for the view definition as well.
Yeah, I will add here the edit functionality, but this is optional for the server to support like updating view definitions. So for like very static use case that the server do provide set of predefined view definitions, you can communicate it to the client through the listing on a view definition search operation. So the client going to the capability statement, it looks that you do support view definition resource, then it jumps to the view definition listing. You're providing set of pre-configured view definitions, and then you can call the run operation on top of this view definition for synchronous operation. So like you can start streaming in a different formats, this data. So this is not asynchronous, but this is a synchronous operation, but still can be useful for some stuff. Right. And if you go to evaluate operation, so this is a dynamic operation, which is getting view definition as a part of the body. And this is useful for the debugging. So if you do support like running view definition dynamically, then you can support evaluate operation, and that's going to be useful for view definition builders and all this stuff. So through this API, we can integrate it with the external design tools. It will share some parameters with the run operation, but the run operation is a static, the evaluate operation is a dynamic, and for now they described with the operation definition framework. We can work after that on parameters in and out. And I hope next week I will show you the export operation. So because it's kind of tricky to implement, but I will implement in reference implementation. Yeah. So and this is asynchronous operation. So you will start this asynchronous operation, and we agreed the last meeting that we will describe all the stuff with the FHIR parameters. So my next goal I already implemented. I already implemented the run and evaluate operations. So the next stop is the export operation. And after that, I think the main scope is covered. And then we can start discussing details and try to implement this and extract the generic client. So potentially, because we're using standard API, so it can be connected to any server which do support this stuff. We can even do like capability discovery. So is it read-only view definitions? Can I create my own? Do you support like what operation are supported? Stuff like this. So my plan for the next week to like implement toy export operation, I will put like sleeps to simulate the long-running task. And after that, yeah, I think it's kind of close to start like discussion and implementation. So the next step is going to be to write tests for that, and then probably make this test parameterized with the external server, so people will be able to run this test on its server. So that's the progress. Yeah, there's a bunch of details. I don't know if you're interested. So that, guys, we requested from FHIR that we want to make our binding extensible. For example, the output formats. They postponed this problem, so they don't have additional bindings in operation. There was long discussion that the FHIR duplicating profiling functionality and the operation definitions. So we're gonna wait for this request, because our idea was that implementers can add extra formats, and there is no way in FHIR to describe it in an operation definition, to say that this is a value set which is extensible, but how the specific implementation will communicate that it supports additional format, there is no way to describe this. Maybe just override the whole operation, but then like we're losing some identities. So, but this discussion in the FHIR, so Gina helping me to drive it forward, and yeah, and we have to discuss the other parameters, like most. I think I worked a lot on a run operation, so here is a bunch of parameters we can support with the description, and then we can generate spec documentation based on this operation definition. Okay, yeah, so that's it from my side. I pushed repo, yeah.
Everybody go check out the branch. I'm just thinking, we've had, we had a big burst of interest in writing view runners like last year, 6 months ago. I'm just wondering who would be interested in implementing this, right? And I know, well, Steve, yes. Nikolai.
Yeah, John said that probably can, and Bashir, what do you think? Do you want to implement this API?
I want to, but I don't think that, for the coming week, I will have the bandwidth. So in terms of the works that we do here, I think it's better for me to focus more on the Parquet thing. And beyond that, I don't think that, I will have bandwidth. The idea that you mentioned, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, I think it makes sense to me. But
maybe reference implementation will inspire you, because it's quite trivial, at least to implement some part of it.
Yeah.
And some teeny API can be implemented quite easily if you have a real runner. Yes, so it's just like...
Yeah, exactly. It shouldn't be too much work, because we already have like a view runner. It shouldn't be too much work to actually do this, but I don't know where I can actually get to that.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder, because, folks normally are gonna, come in and out for sure. But I wonder, I'm just thinking of the list of view runners. I mean, we'd have about 3 or 4 there. Would it be useful in the context? So Graham's implementation, would this make any sense there? I'm trying to think. No, not really, right? It's too...
Yeah, but the Graham provided this for Happy as well. So the guys, maybe somebody will implement this API for Happy. Maybe Graham. I think that, so I did this implementation, yes. So overall I spent maybe 16 hours, something like this. So it is quite easy. So the more complicated part is decide what parameters and all this stuff, and describe this stuff. So the API by themselves is quite trivial.
Yeah. And then once we have the specification, firmed up and solid up, then I think, I'm just thinking ahead to like how it might spread throughout the SQL on FHIR marketplace. But okay, I mean, I think we have enough, right? Just we have 3, 4, 5. Yeah. That seems like
and we can make an extra motivation. So for example, in our view builder, we can start using this API. So if people will implement, they will be able to use a view builder. Yes. And we can make a sandbox with a generic client where the people can switch servers and not just look at the test, but play with the real servers and make this like Brian did for the FirePass lab. Yeah, so we can do this similar stuff for SQL and Fire. And I think people will be interested to at least kind of market it through this, through the SQL and Fire lab sandbox.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, the view builder, I mean, view builder is definitely something that, we are interested in, but it's not necessarily tied to this API, right?
No, it's not tied, but if this API will be official, so then like using evaluation operation while you're building the view.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe I only missed one operation which validate, so I will add the validate operation. So these two operations allow to connect view builder to the runner.
Yeah, then you get this kind of interactive kind of loop going on. Okay, that'd be cool. Yeah. How much effort do you think that would be to do once, we have some more solidity for you got the view builder on one side and the API on the other side?
Yeah, it is really like weak work. So when the API is ready. So because for now, the view definition builder using kind of similar API, it's not standardized, but it is very similar. So it has like something like evaluate, it's called debug in our case, but you're sending view definition and it responds with the JSON or CSV and it just renders it. So it is quite simple. Yes. So if we create validate operations, so it may send the view definition to the server and like show errors if there are some.
Got it. Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, good update.
And your discussion about like MCP and all this stuff, I think they can leverage this API as well, because you can go to like SQL on Fire server, discover what are views here, yes, and start using it, like, because this discovery part is kind of important as well.
For those use cases, I'm not super versed in MCP, just the very top level, but in terms of using, SQL on Fire systems, obviously it makes sense that using the, discovery mechanisms to see what views are there, feeding that into the context, right, of your
what the view definitions, what are the fields? I'm keeping in mind like authoring MCP. So when you like want to ask LLM to write SQL, yes, for you. But before that, it should explore what are available views, what the meaning of these views. And this is a nice way to just load view definitions, like maybe interpret them and put them into the context and write me like a query, which will get like all abnormals for blood pressures. This will work quite well, because what I see now that LLMs can write SQL very well. So you just have to put the context.
Yeah, certainly. And I know folks are experimenting with those processes. And Gene just got back to me, but he said he's going to he'll be on next week. Can't make it this week, but he'll be on next week to demo some of his work, view definition building using LLMs. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have anything else on the agenda. I can just open it up if anybody wants to chat about anything, or we can make a short meeting this week.
Oh, if you want, we can like deep dive into operations. So if you want to discuss parameters.
I always want to discuss parameters.
Yeah.
Like,
we can do this asynchronously so when the guys will start working. So I have another topic that there's a suggestion for the next Analytics on Fire mini conf.
Yeah.
Maybe include AI and LLM as a part of it. So
yes. So
this is I know this was your idea, and I got to that quite close, and we can like use this hype a little bit for Analytics on Fire.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we just for context, you guys, we literally just started thinking about if we wanted to do another conference this fall, and I think let's use that intersection between what we're doing with SQL on Fire, the new stuff with the API, the new stuff for Parquet, plus MCP and, people's demos and things like that. I think, and we're only thinking about, we're thinking about this, again, this is the literal first pass. So please, everybody send us your ideas. I think the same group, me, Nikolai, and, the core folks will be involved in the planning. So, all ideas are good at this stage, certainly. Yeah, I'm for it. for sure. I think we should do it maybe at like maybe a slightly smaller scale or like a little bit more tightly constrained. But I thought it worked well last year. It's great marketing for all of us internally and externally. So yeah, just send us your ideas. We can discuss on this call. We can discuss on other calls if folks have ideas or, potentially even for sponsorships and things like that. We didn't really do much of that last time, but yeah, let's kick it off. I'm all for it.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, then let's pick the date, for that. So for those who don't know, this is a one-day online conference for free about analytics on FHIR. We did it last year, and we hope to do this year, and we can decide, is it going to be beginning of the fall? Probably this is a good time, I think.
I was gonna, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was gonna suggest maybe we could do it as an add-on or a day before or a day after FHIR camp if you do FHIR camp again.
Yeah, so that's a good idea. Yeah, we can even offline, because we were expecting this as online conference.
That's true. That's a good point. Maybe.
Yeah. So this is an online free conference. Yeah, so like one day. Maybe if we get more speakers, we can do it like 2 days. Let's see. So because I see the more people coming, so it's about demos and all the stuff showing what we're doing. And probably, the LLM would be interesting and all this new stuff.
Yeah, we can start sketching it out, Adam. Let's certainly work together on sketching it out. We have a lot of great infrastructure from last year. That's the other thing. Like we don't have to build all that from scratch again. And yeah, we'll put together some outlines. I'm seeing it very similar to last year's, but maybe change the shape a little bit so it's shorter. I mean, people sitting around online for 8 hours is tough. So maybe like just 4 hours if we have more content, maybe over 2 days, something like that.
Yeah, maybe 2 days is the best option. Yes.
Yeah. But okay, great, awesome. I think we should just definitely do it, and let us know if any you hear anything about coordination. This is sort of I feel like this is our event, right? So we kind of can make it whatever we want.
Yep.
All right, sounds good. Anything else from the group? Any other topics?
I sent an invite for kind of brainstorming for the Connectathon to you, so I can also add Nikolai or whoever else wants to join.
Thank you.
Yep, sounds good.
Actually, Nikolai, can you drop your email in the chat? I'm sure I have it somewhere, but it's easier since I'm put it on my work calendar to have it in my work email.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. If there's nothing else, we'll have a short session today.
Yep. Thank you.
All right.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.